Hi lovelies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel and here is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos and leave commentaries and also educate, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys where this pan-colored man is out to talk about how he's married to an African woman. So that actually made him automatically to become an African, American. And also he talks about how Pan-Africa is actually rare and cis. And I was able to put up some stitch because a lot of people were actually out for him. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section and let's dive into it.
Being African American before you will.
Hey, African here in Africa.
Oh snap. She has almost 30,000 likes on her video and she's an African. I might want to sit down for this. I may have met my match. I'm not gonna lie, I am expecting something that sounds really intelligent.
I mean, I don't expect much aquanushi from you because you are white.
A little underwhelming, not gonna lie.
But wife, the ancestors are literally rolling in their graves. She should be embarrassed.
You know, I did meet them. We did get married together in Kenya and they weren't embarrassed. Actually, I think they liked me. I don't want to sound mean or anything, but you kind of sound like a Pan-African. Yeah, you weren't really hiding it. You just kind of kept it out in the open for everyone to see. For those of you who don't know what a Pan-African is, let me blend you over to the African-American in the room and she'll tell you.
Hold on. Actually, a little bit more African to sell this, just in case. What is a Pan-African? A Pan-African is an African who is racist. That's the short and long of it. A Pan-African is just like a black supremacist. They are very empowered by their Africanness. Therefore, they will gatekeep culture because how dare you, a vanilla person, sharing African culture and so on and so forth.
All right, back to the colonizer. You know what? I'm just being rude. Let's hear those words of wisdom.
You would never be African. You are European.
Let me get this straight. So now we're just going to cherry pick the history of my ancestors and we're going to determine what I am based on the middle points? Because if I've never been to Europe, but somehow I'm European because that's where my ancestors came from, then why stop there? Why not go all the way back? Let me introduce you to a thing called the cradle of life. You guessed it, I give you Africa. You can see right on the bottom there, the whole of Africa was the cradle of humankind. So it looks like I'm African after all. I mean, if you're willing to call me European and I don't even need a citizenship, then why not just call me African? You know what? I'll make a deal with you. Since my ancestors originated from Africa and I am now American, you can either call me African American now or you can wait until I get my dual citizenship and call me African American then. My sister, stay blessed or oppressed. The choice is yours. I don't want to sound mean or anything, but you kind of sound like a Pan-African. Yeah, you weren't really hiding it. You just kind of kept it out in the open for everyone to see. For those of you who don't know what a Pan-African is, let me blend you over to the African-American in the room and she'll tell you.
Hold on. Actually, a little bit more African to sell this, just in case. What is a Pan-African? A Pan-African is an African who is racist. A Pan-African is just like a black supremacist. They are very empowered by their Africanness.
This guy is tokenizing his unfortunately misinformed wife to spread misinformation about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is a global political and cultural movement that aims to unite people of African descent worldwide. It emphasizes the shared identity, struggles, and aspirations of Africans and the African diaspora, advocating for solidarity, self-reliance, and the political and economic empowerment of African nations. The movement historically played a crucial role in the decolonization of Africa and continues to influence contemporary discussions on racial equality and international relations. You can verify this information with reputable scholarly sources such as the Journal of American History, the Journal of International Affairs, and more. Google Scholar is literally free. Moreover, African Americans are descendants of chattel slavery specifically. I understand your wife is African, but again, just because someone is black does not mean they speak for all black people or are knowledgeable about complex social issues. Stop tokenizing your wife, and everyone watching this, please please choose your partners wisely, because if you don't, they will use you against the culture and against us.
Let's start with slavery. Now, I don't care what anyone says, slavery was systemic racism. Period. End of story. There is no way to argue against that. You had an entire economic system built on the backs of black people who were treated as property, not humans. It was written into laws. It was part of the Constitution. It was everywhere. That is the very definition of systemic. And then, after slavery was abolished, what happened? Jim Crow laws. Again, this was systemic racism. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. These laws were designed specifically to keep black people as second-class citizens. Separate but equal? Come on, we all know that was a load of bull. It was racism, plain and simple, built right into the system. Now, here's a question for you. When do you think systemic racism ended? Some of you might be thinking, well, it ended when the Civil Rights Act of 1964, right? But let me ask you this. Do you really think centuries of oppression and discrimination just disappeared overnight with the stroke of a pen? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Systemic racism is like a weed with deep roots. You can't just chop off the top and expect it to be gone. It is ingrained in our institutions, our policies, our unconscious biases. It takes time and effort to dig out those roots. Now let's talk about critical race theory. I know some of you might be rolling your eyes, but hear me out. CRT is not just some random idea someone came up with over a cup of coffee. It's based on sociology, which is a science. And in science, you don't get to call something a theory unless you've got mountains of evidence to back it up. We're talking thousands of facts, years of research, and rigorous peer review. It's not just some half-baked notion. And here's something else to chew on. Do you know how many civil rights laws we've passed since the first Civil Rights Act? Since 1964, we have passed at least 8 major pieces of civil rights legislation that deal with race, including the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, the Civil Rights Act of 1991, and most recently, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act of 2022. But why do you think we needed all of these laws? Because the first one did not magically fix everything. The point is, systemic racism did not end in 1964. It did not end in 1968 or 1991 or 2022. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it has not ended yet. We're still working on it. We're still passing laws, still fighting court battles, and still trying to level the playing field. So the next time someone tries to tell you that systemic racism is not real or that it ended decades ago, remember this. Change does not happen overnight. It is a long, hard process. But if we acknowledge the problem, if we keep working at it, we can make things better. It's on all of us to keep pushing for that change, to keep learning, to keep growing, because that is the only way we're ever going to create a truly equal society.
And I seriously love this. This is the reason why, I blame most of these African ladies that get themselves involved with these pan-colored people. And they decided that they're gonna misinform, people like this. They're gonna misinform these pan-colored people that get themselves involved with. Like, nobody is actually disputing the fact that you cannot find love anywhere, or you can't get into a relationship, or maybe if it's not working out for you with your own race and cis, or with your own race, you can't find love in another race. Nobody is disputing the fact. But if you're doing so, do so by not actually trying to disrespect where you come from, because this is just bad. So I was just going through my For You page and I saw this and I was like, why would she talk about Pan-Africa being a discrimination, like being race and cis? And I was like, all I know is that Pan-African means the coming together of all the Africa, both in diaspora in Africa or all over the world. This is just a unity. It's a kind of a unity, like to unite all the Africans together. That is why Dr. Umar often called himself, the Prince of Pan-African, all of that. It's all about unifying. It's all about coming together of all the whole black people, African people all over the world, the diaspora, worldwide, and all of that. Like, what the heck is she trying to tell her, husband? And the husband of hers, decided that, okay, I am actually a white African American, or because you're married to, like, no, that doesn't make you an African American. You are an European, and you remain an European. That this is just the reason why, when I see things like this, I just get so disappointed. If you actually want to go into interracial and all of that, do that, and every other person can actually do that, to respect your own culture. The pan-colored person can respect his or her own culture. Why you, as a black person or an African lady or man, should also do so. Like, there is a video that has been trending on TikTok about this German woman coming actually for the black women, telling them how they are not feminine and how they don't take care of their black men. And she is not in competition with any black women, because these black women they're not feminine to take care of a man. Like, I don't get it. If you're in your own relationship, if you're in your interracial relationship, can you just do that without trying to talk down on anything, anybody's culture, any relationship, and all of that? Like, I don't get it. I don't know why when you guys go into this relationship, you try to start saying all of, this kind of stuff to these colonizers. No matter anything, relationship and all of that, they will remain whom they are. Like, seriously. When I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna put it out here for us to actually delegate, and you guys can actually give your own commentaries on what you think of this video. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thought of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please subscribe to this channel, turn on notification, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.